Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Just to respond to the Honourable David Cunliffe, I think it's hard to be clear in answering the questions raised, the points that the member is making, and I think we agree on some things. We agree that there needs to be a regional decision-making across Auckland. And I think we agree, listening to the members' hymn of praise for community boards, that while providing that, we also need to secure a local democratic input. However, in doing that, we both depart from what the Royal Commission suggested. Because the Royal Commission provided for one council, yes, but it also got rid of all the community boards across Auckland, and it actually completely gutted the existing councils and eliminated Papakura. When I say it gutted the existing councils, they would be left as a physical entity but would have no budgets and no staff. Yes, we'd elect councillors to those structures, but all they would be advocates for what was their former city. And it struck us in talking to Aucklanders, and I pick up Mr Cunliffe's point, that there was an acceptance of the need for that regional governance, but a grave concern about what you'd do for local democracy. And it seemed to us that the Royal Commission's proposal provided none. When I asked the commissioners why they had these councils remain without actually any budget or power or say, they said they felt it would just make the transition easier because you just leave everyone there, if you follow me, and then just put a regional council over the top that would have all the power and all the say. It seemed to me, and it seemed to the government, that that was a mistake, because if you were going through this reform, actually why wouldn't you go for gold and produce the best governance structure that you could for Auckland by getting the regional governance right and then getting the local democracy? And the government spent a great deal of time talking to the community groups, of which Mr Cunliffe spoke, and in particular the Deputy Chair of Community Boards New Zealand, Mr Mike Cohen, who's the chair of the Devonport Community Board, who provided a lot of input and help. And so we came up with local boards which would be recognised in statute and be empowered, and Mike Cohen gave us a lot of help in the initial structure, and after having established their initial structure, he gave us an enormous help from the experience around New Zealand, in particular the Wanaka Community Board experience, about how to make those community boards work in terms of the legislation. So I think what we're both agreeing, Mr Cunliffe, is that the Royal Commission didn't get that part of the local democracy right. Interestingly, it was my view it's how low you go, because the community boards obviously capture quite a small geographical entity, and of course they have no statutory recognition right now. And I could imagine that you'd have your Devonports and your Otahu's all identified as local boards and local decision-making units. But what quickly became apparent, that the region of Auckland is so large that you'd actually have hundreds of local boards if you took them down to that finer level. And if you did that, then they'd become, in a way, powerless, because they'd be too numerous for the council to take a check off. And so I just make the point to Mr Cunliffe, please, that when you're criticising the government for not assiduously and religiously following the Royal Commission, don't then please criticise us for not providing for local democracy, because I ask you, if you'd followed the Royal Commission model, where was the local democracy?
Sue